What's going on, everybody? It's Blighters, and we're on the PTR today. So, before we get into why I'm on the PTR, even though some of you guys probably already know, I want to do a little update on the road to Keystone Hero. So, and why I haven't been putting out any videos in that series. So, quickly into the series, I realized that I kind of just wanted to do keys in game with my friends in my guild, and muting them so I could talk to you guys was kind of hampering not only my play, but kind of making me not really enjoy the dungeons. So I'm deciding on different formats for that series so that way I can start bringing it back, because I know some of you guys like the dungeon videos, but I want to kind of take the channel into in more of a theory crafty kind of talking about Druid tanking or just tanking in general in the future. So I'm kind of exploring those areas, kind of messing around with things behind the scenes on my end, and then once I have something that I'm satisfied with, I will put it out to you guys. So that's where those videos have been. But enough with that. Let's talk Druid changes, because we all know Guardian Druid is getting their class tree and their spec tree reworked for Tuesday. So I wanted to talk about it. I've been on the PTR for a little bit, off and on, and then today I spent a few hours and just kind of testing things and seeing how things go. So let's talk some builds and some interesting interactions that I found. As you'll see, I've been over here testing stuff. Let me just hide this combat log. And yeah, let's talk about some stuff. So this is the latest build I was kind of just messing around with. I don't think I like it. The build that I really am kind of have been impressed with is more of a, I guess it was more of a physical damage build. How did I have this set up? I don't remember. So I went into all of the mall stuff, right? So your vulnerable flesh, your vicious cycle, your tooth and claw. Went down in a circle, life and death, blood frenzy into raise. And then I went into unchecked aggression, flashing claws because I wanted to get over to Ursuk's Fury. And then Rend and Tear. I'm not decided on Rend and Tear or Untamed Savagery. I think Rend and Tear is better for what I'm trying to do here. Let me see if I have anything else that I changed. Nope. So this is kind of this. And then because I'm not really doing, I'm not focused on Moonfire or not really doing magic damage, I got rid of this. And then I put one more in here and then went to Nature's Vigil. And this is kind of the build that I had and I was testing, because there's an interesting interaction with Raise and Nature's Vigil. So I don't know if this is intended, but the way it is working right now is when you raise and have Nature's Vigil up, it's counting Raise as a single target ability, and it's giving you the Nature's Vigil heal off of it, right? Where, because Nature's Vigil says single target abilities, and this replaces Maul, I don't know if the game is, this is what's happening. The game is seeing this as a single target ability for whatever reason, and giving you the heal with Nature's Vigil. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's also, because this replaces Maul, any instance that says Maul also affects this, right? So Ursuk's Fury, you'll get the shield for 30% of the damage of each of these hits, right? It replaces Vicious Cycle. You can use it for Tooth and Claw procs. It also gets the increased 30% chance to crit with because of Vulnerable Flesh, because it replaces all instances of Maul. So this build right here, I've been super impressed while testing playing this build. I initially thought that I was going to be super impressed, Thorns of Iron was going to just be extremely broken, and it is. It's very good. But for whatever reason, excuse me, I am having a lot of fun playing this, which I didn't think I was going to. Especially with the interaction with Nature's Vigil, it just kind of gives you another kind of like utility and cooldown to help out the group. And don't get me wrong, Thorns of Iron is going to be good, right? You'll probably still play it in kind of like the Incarn Thorns of Iron kind of build, where you kind of play the same way that we're kind of playing now, where like the Moonfire spams and getting a bunch of rage. You can and have to actually take Earth Warden and after the Wildfire right now. You don't really have to, but you're not really going to take this in like PvE. This isn't really that interesting in PvE. Although this might be now. This is actually an interesting thing that I just realized. This actually works with Raise now. So it puts a 50% slow on everything. That's actually not... That's not bad. That's actually a really good kiting tool. Not that like... I mean, we don't have necrotic anymore, so it's not like you're super like having to run away, but some mobs... This could actually be really interesting. So keep that in mind. Keep infected wounds in mind, because you might see it on times where you definitely need to kite. Oh, so I actually didn't test that out, but I just realized that right now. So yeah, but you're definitely not going to take things like Ursulk's Endurance, even though they did put it down, 1 point, whatever. Improved Survival, you're probably never going to take in most cases. Nor Soul of the Forest. I mean, in some cases you can, but like most likely you'll be putting like your 3 points, because like if you look right, anytime you're trying to build, right, we'll take this out. To get down to this part, you need 12 points, right? So you need 12 points inside of here. So more often than not, right, especially in like dungeon scenarios, you're going to be like, well, where do I put my points, right? If you're trying to go in like the Moonfire build, you have to take 3 more points. So you might as well put 2 in here and 1 in here, where it just gives you after the Wildfire and Earth Warden. There's a lot of talk about like which one's better in which scenario. Now you just take both of them. You get your Twin Moonfire, your Moonlight, Galactic Guardian if you want it. You go down to the kind of the standard build that like everyone's kind of playing now. Or at least I'm playing. I don't usually play Galactic Guardian in dungeons just because I find it is very GCD hungry. Lunar Beam still is not good. It's still not good. It does a decent amount of damage, right? But I don't think for being a capstone, it is tuned to do enough damage. And it only really lasts 8 seconds, and it's like a 1.3 minute some weird cooldown number. So I'm still not impressed with it. I'd like to see it buffed a bit, but yeah, so like not much is changing. It's a little easier to get through the tree to get to more like things because there is more connectors. They did move things around, took out some of the points, so overall I'm happy. I'm happy with the tree. The Druid, at least the Guardian side. The class side, again, these are now 2 points, which is really good. It's easier to kind of get down to other things. We can cast Innervate and Bear Form. That's fantastic. I'm happy with that, right? So overall, I'm a happy Druid. And I do like the way this is going. But if we go back to this build, I kind of just want to see. I don't even know where you would take out points. You could probably take this out and put this here, because I actually want to test this right now. So we're gonna go down to a target dummy. There's a lot of people down there, so hopefully they don't blow your eardrums out. We are going down. Whoops, I ran in the wrong way. Alright. So we're on the PTR. I don't really have any of my weakers or anything, but my buffs are right here, so we'll see that. And then actually, let me bring the combat log up here for you guys, so we can see. So I'm going to just use Thrash and Mangle, right? I don't want the absorb damage from I literally just pressed Thrash and I said I wasn't going to. We're gonna cap out on Rage. We have our 2 Tooth and Claw procs. I'm gonna wait till those fall off. Okay. So now I'm gonna hit Nature's Vigil and then Raise. Okay. So you can see right here, where's the first raise? Right here. So we hit with Raise. It hit the 5 times, and then Nature's Vigil proc for 22k. Right? So it's counting this as a single target ability. Now I didn't see the slow go on them, but I don't know if these ones can be slowed. So maybe Infected Wounds doesn't actually work. But yeah, every time after we hit Raise, we get a Nature's Vigil proc. So just something to kind of think about when you're doing the like when you're pulling this, because like this is extremely helpful for healers in like certain situations where if you could just be like, I'm gonna press this, even though it's only one, it only heals like one person, but remember, like when you're doing that, you're also going to be hitting Mangle, right, which will proc it as well. So be hitting Mangle and Raise, and then you have your Iron Furs and your Thrashes. Moonfire does not trigger it, not that I remember. I might be wrong about that. Hold on, let me see. No, you know what Moonfire doesn't trigger? Moonfire doesn't trigger Moonless Night. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. So when I was doing my testing, Moonfire was not triggering this. Even if you didn't have Twin Moons, like if you didn't have Twin Moonfire, it still was not triggering. So that's something to remember going forward, that this, like, Moonfire is not going to deal an additional 10% arcane damage on your target. Okay, let me see. I don't remember if Moonfire actually triggers Nature's Vigil. Yeah, it does. Okay. So, like, you could have your Galactic Guardian triggers for that, too. So doesn't your Mangle. Right here, yeah. And then Raise again. You hit your Raise. You got your Nature's Vigil down here. Yep. Yep. So yeah, I think the most impressed I am is out of just Raise itself. I think it's a really good improvement for having Maul. I think Maul is just, if you guys have watched any of my videos and how much I complain about Maul and how boring it is, but I think Raise is a really good improvement to that. I still would like to see something done with it a bit more interesting. Like the Tooth and Claw thing's cool, where it doesn't use Rage when you proc a Tooth and Claw thing. I think that's fine. I think it also should not be on the GCD for Tooth and Claw. And I think at that point I'd be very happy and like 100% okay with this ability. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to get on here, talk a bit about this. I think this is the build that I'm probably going to be playing on Tuesday, doing some keys and whatnot. Maybe I'll try to get some recordings out next week of me just doing keys with this build. Now, if you go the Moonfire way, you're probably not going to run Nature's Vigil. Even though I guess you could. But you definitely want Nurture and Instinct, which I don't have because this build's damage is mostly physical. So I didn't need the increase to magic damage, right? Or even the healing. At that point, I don't care too much about it, right? Because you're going to be able to spam Frenzy Regenerations. Because its cooldown's reduced by 20%. So like right now, at this level, I'm at 27 seconds. So I think you'll be fine with it. Plus you'll have a ton of Absorb Shield with Ursox Fury and Rays and Thrashes getting you the Absorb Shield. So I didn't put this in here, but when you go to the Moonfire build, you'll probably go in here. You got to find 2 points, which, I mean, you could take it out of Well-Honed Instincts. Usually what I do is I take 1 out of Well-Honed, 1 out of Vigil, and put them in here if I go into like a Moonfire build. You also have, I like the Incessant Tempest, right, where it reduces the cooldown, because I think this could mess some things up, where you're like pushing them back into like other groups. But I haven't really tested much, so this could be interesting. I'd have to play with it more. But again, we now get Typhoon and Vortex again, which is like a staple in BFA Season 2. So glad to see that come back for us. All in all, I think Guardian Druid is actually going to be one of the better tanks. The second half of the season and going into Season 2, I think we're going to be right up there with, I don't know defensively, probably not defensively with Prot Warrior, but definitely in utility and offense. Just with Res alone and Thorns of Iron. I kind of wish that in this build I could get Thorns of Iron, but I would need 2 points. So like, I guess you could if you decided to take out Fury and Rend and Tear. You could go down and get Thorns of Iron by also taking Elun's Favored. So that might be an option as well. That would give you more physical damage. It would also heal off the Moonfires that you're putting out, even though Moonfire won't be your like main thing. But it could be an option and direction that we go in. I think more testing and kind of people playing the way that they want to play, they feel more comfortable playing. I know a lot of people are going to say, you're not taking Incarn. I still get it now. You can go into Incarn. I don't think Incarn's necessary. I think you're going to get more mileage this way than you would with Incarn. Incarn will definitely probably do more damage. I will give you that. But you lose the... But you could also go Incarn too, right? You could just take out Ursox Fury and then just go in here and then go in here. Because like the problem is you need 2 points, right? Because you're not gonna play Incarn without Ursox Guidance, because it just doesn't make sense. So this could be a build too instead if you find that this shield isn't really doing much, which like you get a decent shield because you get a shield for each one of the, it's 30% of the damage that Maul does. And where this hits 5 targets, it's going to be 30% of each of the instances of damage that Raze does. Raze doesn't hit super hard, but it's not, if you look, where do we have it? It's hitting like 11k, right? It crits for like 22, right? So if you have a bunch of crits, like the shield stacks up super, super high. Right. Sometimes you'll have 124k absorb shield, right, for damage, which is really good, right? As you can see, like my HP right now is 477k. If I have another 140k on top of that, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm over 600k effective HP. So that is it's interesting. It's something you're gonna have to play around with, right? I think if you want more damage, you probably go Incarn. And then if you want more survivability, you probably go to Rend and Tear. Even though you could argue that Incarn does give you more survivability because it's, increases your HP by 30%. And it lasts for 30 seconds. Like, you could argue that Incarn is just always going to be better than Ursox Fury. Which now that I'm thinking about it, it probably is. I really just want Fury to be good again and not be terrible, right? I don't think the 40... I don't think the nerf was... I don't think they should nerfed it as heavily as they did. But, I don't know, that's all tuning. Maybe they see things that I don't see. So, this is probably essentially the build that you'll probably play. I'm going back on my initial thoughts. I think this is probably just better. Because you'll get more damage out of this, which is kind of where you need to push anyways. This will give you all of the maul stuff. You'll lose the shield from this. But at least you'll have something to press that does more AoE damage, right? Because like in AoE scenarios, you just end up spamming like Iron Fur, and then at some point your armor capped and you're just like, well, I guess I'll press Maul, and it kind of feels bad. So like now you'll at least have something to press that's going to do AoE damage. So I'm going back on my word. I think this is the build that you'll play. I think this is the build that's going to get you the most mileage out of Mythic Plus. Now, I haven't tested any of this, so don't quote me on it, but this is at least the build I'm going to start with, and then I will probably customize it a bit from here, seeing what things look like in Mythic Plus. But I think that's going to be all for me today. I do appreciate you guys kind of coming here, hanging out, and still subscribing. I see you guys still subscribing. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll try to reformat kind of the dungeon stuff, and hopefully we can get this going and get back on to producing videos. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and keep thrashing.